Today's guest is Johnny Showtime Tiernan, co-owner of the iconic Dockside Inn in Oak Bluffs and the man behind Martha's Vineyard's longest-running trivia and karaoke nights at the Ritz. How do you keep a disciplined iron mind? Because you've been doing trivia for how long now?
Oh, it's like 20 plus years.
20 years?
Yeah.
Bro.
I was the first to start the trivia at the bowling alley.
Really?
Yeah, Mike Sawyer had asked me to do it, and then, it went on to Dan, and he's doing a great job at it now. But Dan and I used to do trivia together at the wharf as well.
For over 2 decades, Johnny brought unmatched energy to the island, from making Dockside a staple stay for tourists and locals alike, to turning Tuesday nights into community rituals with his wife, Erin. In this episode, we talk about what makes Dockside Inn so special, the secrets behind unforgettable trivia nights, and how he built a business that thrives without ever feeling like a franchise. Also shared the wildest moment he ever witnessed on stage and the one piece of advice that shaped everything for him. Let's get into it. Welcome, Johnny Showtime.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here today. You're actually one of the most interesting persons I've ever met so far, and I'm really excited that we got to do this podcast today, and I hope you guys like it. It's going to be super awesome. So first, tell me, who's Johnny Showtime, and
Showtime.
What's Dockside Inn, and what's all the businesses you do on island?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a karaoke host.
Really?
If I'm on vacation at a swim-up bar, somebody asks me at a beach chair next to me, what do you do for a living? I always go to karaoke host. It's the job I've done the longest, and I'd like to identify as that karaoke host. But yes, I do have a business, the Dockside Inn, and a few others that are.
So what came first, the trivia or the Dockside Inn? Because most people here, if you really walk around like Martha's Vineyard, they know you for Dockside Inn.
Host.
Well, I know you from Dockside Inn.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's my day job.
That's your day job.
My day job's pretty great. The Dockside Inn became about, I moved back to the island. My family's all from the island.
Right.
And I moved here in 2001. And there was a gentleman starting out a new fast ferry business called New England Fast Ferry. And I thought it was crazy. It was going to be a high-speed ferry service between New Bedford and the Vineyard.
Right.
And I was kind of the local guy that he wanted to run his operations here. I did that for 8 years. When he sold to a larger company called C Streak, it left me the opportunity to get into something different. And
interesting.
My old boss, Mike Glassfeld, told me, he goes, take this opportunity and do something good. At the same time, I had a friend at the time who was in the hospitality business, and he pointed out the Dockside Inn. He said it would be a great opportunity. We put the same amount of money together in an account, 50-50. We jumped into business together. We put an offer in on the Dockside, got it.
Wait,
it was in need of renovation.
What was the competition for that service like that? Like how?
Fast ferry?
No, yeah, for like the Dockside Inn to just even get that.
The Dockside had been a family business since 1990, and this was 2012, I believe it was, 2012. So I think it had just run the course with that family. They'd had it for 20 plus years. Wow. And they were at a point where they were either going to spend a lot of money in renovations or they were going to move on to something different. They decided to move on to something different. My partner and I bought the Dockside and put in about 300, 400,000 in renovations. Yeah. And we've been full since. We were very fortunate, though. We were able to have a great location, and we put a little bit of effort into it. I like to say that we had the first boutique because we hired a designer, and her name's Tracy Overbeck-Stead. She's since moved to the island, and she's quite successful. But she had worked with the W Hotels. She had worked with major corporations, and at the time, we didn't think we could afford her, and we really couldn't. But the design elements that she put in the Dockside Inn made it a boutique. So then we started using the catchphrase, we're Martha's Vineyard's premier boutique hotel. Wow. And now here we are 12 years, 13 years later, and everybody that opens is a boutique hotel. I didn't make up the term. Like, imitation is the highest form of flattery, and everything, most of everything that we do over at the Dockside has been copied or...
Wow. So you feel like you've been like setting the trends for iconic stays here on Martha's Vineyard?
I would say that we raised the bar for iconic stays on Martha's Vineyard, but I think the corporate takeover of the hotels have really skyrocketed that, and it's kind of terrible.
Well, that's part of it though. So wait, take me to how you do with like your partner. Like, what's that relationship like in terms of even running that business? Because it's kind of, or like, it's running a hotel is very hard. Like, how do you manage that?
It is, and it isn't. I mean, we have a manager now that's been with us for 5 years, Kevin. He's been our GM both our tour bus company and our hotel.
Right.
And he's kind of the intermediary between me and my partner. My partner does back of the house, I do front of the house. I make sure all those rooms get rented. He makes sure that everything in that room is as high of a standard as we want,
Wow.
which is, he has that place running really well, and I have the room selling really well. And the two of us together, it's just, we stay out of each other's lanes. That's the biggest advice I can give you. Partners are for dancing. Partners are tough.
Because
so
I know...
I don't want to sugarcoat it and say it's all roses. It's not all roses. But at the end of the day, he does his job, I do my job, we leave each other alone.
No, I love this. I love this because whenever I basically think of a partnership, I usually think of like marriage and stuff, and sometimes people don't understand.
My wife is by far my most successful partner.
Right.
By far, that's the most successful partnership I have.
Man.
Everything I've ever done with my wife has turned into gold, including my 14-year-old.
Wow. Because I've always heard whenever you see like a successful person, always check out his wife. Wife is always
It's
the answer.
100% true with me. Because I'm such a dreamer, such a silly heart, a twiddler.
Yep.
I will just keep going and going and going. I was up at 4 o'clock this morning
Yep.
trying to develop a cafe. I've never wanted to be in the cafe business, but I have an idea for a cafe, and I think it would be I'm never going to do it, because I would bring it to my wife, my partner, and she would say, what do you like about the cafe business? And I'm going to say, nothing.
And
Besides the fact that I think that this idea is banger. But that's the problem with me, is I think all my ideas are banger. So I need my wife to kind of pull my strings down,
Right.
get the balloon back down to earth sometimes.
Right.
Because I'll keep shooting and shooting until it,
So say for instance for the Dockside Inn, right? How do you guys differentiate yourselves from all the other hotels on the island?
Well, very unfortunately, we're locally owned, because none of the other hotels are.
Yeah.
We have a few other locally owned hotels in town, and they do a great job. But since COVID, really, we've seen this massive corporate takeover, and I don't care what their little fancy names are.
Right.
They're part of national brands.
That's what I'm thinking about.
And that worries me. It worries me for this little island.
Right.
COVID was a scary time for hoteliers. We take all of these deposits in advance, and we do things differently. On the mainland, you can fill those boats, or you can fill those beds with people that are just driving by on the highway. Well, we don't have a highway. So if you don't have a car out here, if you're not already out here, you're not looking for a room.
Wow.
So we take the deposits in advance. The business model is great when it's great, but when a pandemic happens,
It's shaky.
all of my competitors were mostly older, and they were probably thinking about getting out anyway, so they took the big corporate buyouts. We've had the guys come in with the big checkbooks and say, here's X amount, and the amounts vary sometimes by $5 million. So it's, I'm not going anywhere. I don't plan on selling ever.
Ever. Wow. So,
But it's like my partner described it once as a box that prints out money, and in some ways it is like that. But you got to take care of the customers.
Correct.
I didn't make that up. There was like a Sears Roebuck, take care of the customers. Everything else will take care of itself.
Facts.
Those are the things that you have to worry about. The customers. And that's what makes the Dockside so special, is that I bet I have more repeat customers than most other hotels.
Yeah.
The Madison does a terrific job. They have a lot of repeat guests. Other than that, I can't speak to any of the other hotels, but I know that in my room 20 right now is the same person that's been in room 20 for the last 10 years.
Wow.
And next week, I'll get the people that always come the first week in August. The week after that, I'll get my fireworks and illumination people. And I've had most of those people for the last 14 years, 13 years. Same people, same rooms. They know the neighbor that's in the next room over, and it makes my job so easy. So in the hospitality world, keeping people happy is a lot of work that you're talking about. But as far as like filling those rooms, not a lot of work here. The numbers are in our favor. There's not enough hotel rooms for the amount of people that want to be on Martha's Vineyard. And business is so hard to get started on Martha's Vineyard that towns and governing bodies discourage any kind of business growth, especially in this town of Oak Bluffs. We've watched Oak Bluffs plummet from number 2, undisputed number 2 visited destination, to number 3. Congratulations, Vineyard Haven, you just took our spot.
Wow.
But we did it because our select board and our governing bodies here in Oak Bluffs do not want business growth. There's a reason why we have an HVAC company as they get off the boat in Oak Bluffs now. I don't hate that guy. I don't know that guy. I think he's a hustler. I can see all the things that that he's doing, but I know he's probably sitting on there until he gets more wastewater flow, because it was a bank. And the town has said, we're not going to consider anything except for a one bathroom, one business.
Wow.
So his hands were tied. I'm sure his hands were tied. Or maybe he wants that location. It doesn't matter. It's none of my business. But I know that a lot of other developers passed on that property, which was pretty affordable, because they knew the town would say, no, we're not going to give you wastewater flow. No, we're going to stop growth here in town. For 10 years, we've been just plummeting downhill, and I don't know why.
So is it a changeable thing? You think
It's definitely changeable. Elections have just proven that.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. We had a long-serving message sent to people who were anti-growth, and yep. And I think they heard it loud and clear.
Wow.
So I think the tide's turning. There's a beautiful vinyl wrap on that new electric box in front of Nancy's.
Yes.
It looks great. That was our select board. The new select board moved that forward. So it was so lovely to see that we actually put something into beautification. Now, if we can clean the trash barrels, we'll be pretty good. But I always look at your kid or your own home with more crucial eyes. My wife pointed out to me the other day, we were in Eggertown, and she said, look, their barrels are full too. Point taken. I mean, ice cream and pizza boxes, they fill up pretty quickly.
No, that's pretty cool. But earlier you spoke about that corporations taking over with the franchise ban scenario, right?
Yeah, it's not really a franchise ban that we have. It's not. It's really that we make life really difficult for franchises. There's been people in the past that have brought a Dunkin' Donuts in, right underneath Nancy's. It failed. There was a Subway.
Dunkin' Donuts failed?
Yeah, it failed.
Subway failed?
They had to get their donuts from off island. By the time they got here, they weren't the way that you got your Dunkin' Donuts back then.
Okay.
So it was just like they sold Dunkin' Donuts here. They sold Subway sandwiches here. Those don't work. Those concepts don't work.
So you think if they had a better supply chain, it would work for them?
It might, but I don't think we should do that. We should focus on local. I mean, all these restaurants, for the most part, I can't speak to restaurants, but there might be the same corporate takeover happening. I think there is. But you can still get farm to table stuff here.
Because that's what I'm saying.
Our food here tastes different.
All right. So before we I want to dive deep into that franchise stuff, but I really want to talk about the things you've learned from running Dockside Inn, and what is one of the main lessons you feel like you've learned running that business over the years?
Well, you can't fake hospitality. People are going to see it. You know, so if I ask you how your day's going, it's because I really want to know how your day's going.
You genuinely care.
And I stop and I listen. I genuinely care about people.
Facts.
There's two different ways of thinking about it. I look at them like that's our bread and butter. The people. We start with the people. We start with customer service. That's the best. There's other philosophies that who cares? The people are going to be here no matter what. We'll just give them the widget that they want, get them to pay for it, and send them on their way. I think that personal interaction is the best. I think that the reason why my rooms are filled with the same people that come back every year is because I remember them, and I'm genuinely happy to see them. So and they know that they can see. You can see fake.
So when, say for instance, when the season ends and all your guests leave, how do you target them to come back, or do they just naturally come back on their own and basically book ahead?
They book ahead. Wow. Anybody that's leaving in August is saying, save my room, I'll call you in October, I'll call you in November with a deposit. Wow. It's that easy in the hotel business. So have you ever thought about like expanding, or is it possible? Yes, I want 5 more rooms. I've wanted 5 more rooms for 10 years, and for 10 years the wastewater department has told me that there's no wastewater flow, despite the fact that a hair salon just closed down on Circuit Avenue. Linda Jeans never opened up. The old Red Cat location never opened up. Yeah. The Balance is gone. What was the bar here? The Lamppost is gone. Seasons is gone. The AC is gone. Yeah. But all that wastewater just mysteriously disappeared. I want 5 more bedrooms, and I want to give the town 11.7% on every dollar that I make in occupancy tax, so I can have 5 more bedrooms on top of that. Chuck Sullivan did a beautiful design. It's a beautiful concept, and as soon as 2026 happens, apparently I can apply for wastewater again. But wastewater has been their gas pedal to stop development in this town. But yes, I want to expand. I realize how basically limited Circuit Ave extension is, right? Yeah. And how would you even expand that? Like I want to square the roof off, just like the beautiful Wesley or now Summer Camp Hotel. It's got that Victorian squared roof look. So I have an attic space that's completely wasted that you can only access through one of the rooms. Yeah. I would just go up 1 more level of staircase, I'd go up another level. I'd add an elevator so you could get to the 4th floor.
Yeah.
And I'd add 5 more rooms. And the Dockside would go from 22 rooms to 27 rooms.
Interesting.
And the town would make a bundle of money in occupancy tax, and they'd sell more ice cream cones and more T-shirts and more
But
souvenirs.
something tells me that the incentive of growth monetarily is not what interests them, the town, you know, because they're probably getting so much money from other places.
Yeah, they
don't really care.
No, they don't care. Well, unfortunately, a lot of people, not just the town, but a lot of people that are here now, are here now, and they're like, okay, well, I'm here. I have mine. I don't want anybody else to see this.
Okay.
Or when I hear the craziest things about the Polo Ralph Lauren campaign about Oak Bluffs being featured in their ad campaign.
I saw
think
that.
It's lovely. I mean, it's saying that my hometown is a very diverse community. Who would hate that?
Right.
But everybody else is saying, oh, it's going to bring too much attention, too many people.
Isn't that a good thing?
If you saw pictures from the 1900s, there was probably over 1,000 hotel rooms on Circuit Avenue alone. You had the Shawnee House, the Pawnee House, the Cosmopolitan Hotel, the Metropolitan Hotel. All of these were hotels. Every business you see on Circuit Avenue pretty much had a rooming house or a hotel on top of it.
Really?
Circuit Avenue was crawling.
In what year did you think it changed, though? What do you think?
I think in the 1920s we went through a recession like the rest of the country did, and then it just got a little bit more. It got more difficult. Building codes changed. Everything changed for safety, which is great.
Yeah.
And a lot of those places had fires, so they were gone and just never rebuilt.
So when it comes on to
But you could. Oak Bluffs was so crazy back in the day. Like people think now, like, oh, we're coming into August, it's going to be crazy. You know what you can't do in Oak Bluffs anymore? You
What?
can't wrestle a bear cub from Maine, because back in the day,
people did that.
go to the Tivoli building and you could wrestle with a little bear cub that had his claws ripped out. So I'm
Interesting.
glad you can't do that anymore. You could take a .22 rifle and shoot at a firing range located underneath the Flying Horses Carousel.
Really?
Yep. So I mean, there was a skating rink, 2 skating rinks.
On the island.
2 movie theaters.
2 movie theaters.
I mean, 2 skating rinks, 2 movie theaters. That's just in Oak Bluffs. There was a roller coaster, sort of like a burlap sack toboggan ride, I think they called it.
Yeah.
Right over where the Dockside is now.
Really?
Yeah, so this town was absolutely begging for tourism in 1880 to 1907. We were Cottage City, and we wanted your tourists. We had big bands playing over at the Dreamland Ballroom.
Yeah, if you research Oak Bluffs, though, I see a lot of things that this town was the first town who had no barriers on, like, black people
Absolutely
could be here.
not. No segregation.
No segregation. So, like, that's pretty cool. But, okay, so when it comes on to Dockside Inn, though, right? If you're full occupancy, who are you recommended for a guest?
Well, so I think what you're trying to get at is, if I'm full, why don't I just keep going up in price?
No, well, that too.
Because I don't want that.
You don't want that.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
Because with a $700 a night customer,
Yeah.
or with a $700 a night room, comes a $700 a night customer.
Right.
That's not necessarily my jam. I want to be able to go onto that porch and see somebody in a rocking chair like Paul Rollo and say, hey, Paul, how's everything? How's the family? How are the grandkids?
Right.
And he's going to have a great time telling me, because I didn't go up $200 every year in prices. I kept my prices within $10, $20 a year.
Well, what's the most expensive room?
Most expensive room I have, I think, is about $489.
$489?
Maybe during fireworks and illumination. If something becomes canceled, still.
Really?
Yeah.
And I would genuinely think that for that location,
You're
doing like 800.
Get more. It's going to change. It's going to change my
Yeah.
vibe. It's going to change my want to go there and ask people on the porch how their day's going.
Really?
Because if I spent $700 a night, $800 a night, $900 a night on a hotel,
Right.
I want a phone. I want a bellman. I want a security guard.
I know,
I
that's
want
true.
24-hour front desk.
Interesting.
All of which I don't have. I try my best to take care of all of those things, but we're small. It's
So
local.
why is it not possible to have 24-hour front desk?
I mean, I could do it, but there's no need for it.
Okay.
There's nothing that's happening over there with my 22 rooms that need.
Okay, okay.
And once the bars close, there's a little rumble at 1 o'clock in the morning, but then
Yeah.
everybody gets to bed and they wake up the next morning and have breakfast.
All right. So let's move forward
Yep.
from the Dockside Inn, because you're a man of a lot of talents and you're a man of like a lot
Many
of
hats.
businesses.
I don't know if I have
many
any talents.
Nah, you got
Many
talent,
hats.
bro. You got talent. So when I did a bunch of research on you, it's very interesting because I've known you from Dockside Inn, right?
Yeah.
But what I've actually been seeing is what you do with trivia night, right? So how did the name Johnny Showtime come about, and how did that happen?
It was given to me. It was just when I was in my early 20s, mid 20s,
Right.
and I started doing karaoke at Seasons. It was pretty wild, and I was pretty wild, and every night was a showtime.
Right.
You know, so any night that I was there, people got pretty rowdy and ruckus. And I think I still bring it at 49 years old, 20 plus years later.
Yeah.
Here I am, still bringing it.
So do you remember the person who gave you that name? Or they just randomly gave it to you?
Well, there was Crystal at the steamship will absolutely love the fact that she thinks that she's the first to coin Showtime. She might have been.
Yeah.
She might have been. Mike Santoro, the manager of Seasons at the time, would call me Showtime. And, the name fit at the time. And when I had my son, which was 14 and a half years ago now, I was like, I'm done. I'm definitely quit.
Really?
And then I realized that like one night out a week, hosting karaoke or trivia is a night out with the boys, but I'm also coming home with a paycheck. At the end of the day, I'm getting paid. You know, I do love it, and I love the people that come and show up, but at the end of the day, it is a job. It is work. And I think it just takes a unique personality to do trivia or karaoke. Because it's the same connections that I'm making at the hotel. I know my trivia teams. I know the same trivia teams that come back. You know, I know the Dirty Smartinis that always come out and play. You know, and the different teams, the team names, and I've seen some of their kids that weren't old enough to drink, that now are old enough to drink, that are sitting down with them, playing trivia with them, or staying afterwards and singing karaoke with them.
Wow.
So it's really kind of, we get this summer little microcosm that I get to watch families that I enjoy growing up, whether it be at the hotel or trivia or karaoke or any of the other entertainment, you know. But
so how, all right,
a beast.
So say for instance, because I know hosting any event can get like cumbersome, it can get hard. So how do you keep it engaging, and what is a trivia night like here? Because we're at the Ritz right now.
Yeah,
actually.
we're at the Ritz. This is my favorite. This is my favorite little venue. This is my favorite little spot, my most comfortable spot to be. Trivia nights here, we do everything. We do a PowerPoint presentation.
Right.
So here we get kind of goofy. It's fun. We clean up our act a little bit and make it family friendly at Bad Martha's on Wednesday. And on Thursday we do the same thing for the Black Dog Corporation up on State Road where the train car is there.
Wow. So who's helping planning this stuff? Like, how do you plan the trivia night?
I wrote this morning.
You wrote the trivia?
Yeah, I wrote this morning. It's a combination of watching a lot of American history tellers and podcasts. I'm constantly walking. Everybody sees me walking.
I want to get to that too.
It's a mind thing for me. It makes me happy.
So you just sit down, you create the PowerPoints? Who creates the PowerPoints?
Well, Kevin puts the PowerPoints together. I will send Kevin. Kevin's my GM over there. He's also been my co-host here at Trivia and Karaoke for a couple of years because my wife has stepped down.
Really?
Yeah, she's got so much going on with her stores.
Because I know you used to do it with her.
I did, and it was great, and it was absolutely the most profitable, best trivia
with her.
Oh yeah,
with her.
Yeah, because she knew what she was doing. She knew how to handle the people. A lot of people, I mean, everybody's drinking, so they don't understand that if you show up at 11:45, maybe I'm not going to get you in there by 12:15 unless you wanted to grease the pot a little bit and then get bounced up, which upsets people. But that's how it works. Business. Either you show up at 9 o'clock when I start karaoke and put your name in and get to sing in a reasonable amount of time, or you show up drunk at 11:45 and demand to sing and pay me $20. So my wife was a master at that.
So the traffic for the karaoke plus trivia night, are they coming here specifically for you, or are they just here for the Ritz?
Different crowds. I have very few crossovers. I have trivia teams and I have karaoke teams, and they're different crowds of people.
Wow.
So I get to see two different friend groups. I remember when I was a kid, I had a birthday party, and I had probably 10, 20 people there, and all of them were fighting with each other.
Really?
And my dad goes, "What's with all these kids? They all hate each other." And I looked at my dad and said, "But they all like me. They're all here because they like me."
Wow.
I don't fit myself in a little box, and I think people that see me walking around or sitting, socializing on the harbor, you'll see that I don't really even have a lot of friends, but I have a lot of associates, and all of them are from vastly different
But that's by choice, though. You choose to not have a lot of
I
friends.
choose to not like somebody because they're in some cool little crowd.
Right.
I never was. I was the class clown in high school. I kind of stood apart.
Okay, so to even do the karaoke, the trivia, and all that stuff, you have to have like a very forward-thinking, singular mind where you're basically just not caring what everybody else is doing, but focused on this task. How do you do this, and how is this possible for you to just, because doing the trivia and karaoke, it's not a popular thing. It's not like everybody is doing
no,
this stuff.
I don't get bullied. I don't let people bully me.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
let people bully me in high school. I won't let people bully me now. If you want to laugh about my karaoke and trivia,
Yeah.
that's fine, because at the end of the day, you could be, really working hard.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I'm going to go out to the bar, I'm going to socialize with a bunch of friends, and I'm going to bring home a paycheck.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't do it, but it's not volunteer work.
Yeah.
And these hands are still soft.
so that's cool.
And I'm not criticizing anybody whose hands aren't soft.
Right.
I'm saying that's a lot of hard work too, but what I do is hard work, and if it wasn't, somebody would have taken my crown a long time ago.
Well, that's very true, but I think that crown is kind of hard to take because when I look at these things, it's like a lot of brain work, a lot of thinking, a lot of planning. So most people, they're not
Well, I
in
only
that.
sleep 4 hours a day. If you look at my trivia timestamp, it's 3:45 to 6:45 this morning. I took 3 hours from 3:45 to 6:45 to write my trivia.
To write your trivia.
Yeah, it takes about 3 hours to write it.
Wow.
Because I don't grab it out of a book.
Yeah.
I do some research. I make sure that I vet every question to make sure it's right, because I learned a long time ago, the guy in the back of the room that says, "It's Normandy." I don't want to get called out in front of a room of people.
Yeah.
I didn't get bullied in high school. I'm not going to get bullied now.
Wow. So it's like, how do you keep a disciplined iron mind? Because you've been doing trivia for how long now?
Oh, it's like 20 plus years.
20 years?
Yeah.
Bro, like, I can't
yeah.
even, dude, like, that actually blew my expectations because I genuinely thought it was like 10 years or something like that.
No, we did trivia. I mean, I was the first, and it's uncontestable. I was the
Wow.
first to start the trivia at the bowling alley.
Really?
Yeah, Mike Sawyer had asked me to do it, and then, it went on to Dan, and he's doing a great job at it now. But Dan and I used to do trivia together at the Wharf as well.
Really?
Yeah, so I've done trivia everywhere now.
So what moves the
East Shop,
locations?
West Shop, Eggertown Yacht.
So do you still move locations? Or
Oh yeah,
is it still?
yeah. I do about 4 or 5 nights a week during the summer,
Yeah.
and most of the time I'll double dip. So if I do trivia on Thursday night over at the Black Dog
Yeah.
from 6 to 8, me and Kevin then get in an Uber and we get over to Eggertown and we set up at 9:30, 10 o'clock for karaoke at the Wharf until 12:30.
You say get in an Uber because you're probably drinking at that time.
I find that there's a healthy amount of lubricant that goes into being a karaoke or trivia host.
Right.
And it's, when you're surrounded by people that are imbibing.
I mean, it would probably be hard
I've
for
done
me.
some sober karaoke nights.
Doesn't work out.
Well, it's like anybody. You ask your average person to go to a karaoke night without having a drop of liquor in them.
Really?
Yeah, and then ask them to do it 4 nights a week. It's tough.
I mean, that's crazy. So
But my days of being totally out of control are over. The Showtime days are over. But now Showtime's going to remain because I thought when my son was born that I could just walk away. But I also love the venues that I have. I love the Black Dog for employing me. I love the Bad Martha's. Mia runs such a great show over there. I love being over there at Bad Martha's. I love the crew over there at Bad Martha's. Here, the Ritz is like home. These people are great. If I step down from this and they were scrambling to find somebody to do their karaoke and trivia,
Right.
I mean, all of those venues will tell you those are the nights that they fill up. They fill every single seat of this. You can come on Tuesday night. Every single one of these seats will be filled with people playing trivia. And then by the time karaoke starts, I'll have a 35, 40-minute wait.
Easy.
At 9. So
Wow.
the formula is still working. We're not going to mess with it. I think I will probably step back a little bit as Kevin takes over a little bit more, but who knows? I've also said that there was going to be the death of Showtime many years ago, and here I am.
Yeah. I mean,
14 years later, I promised I was going to quit when my son was born, and here I am, still doing it.
Nah, you're pretty cool. So from all these trivias you've been doing, 20 plus years, right?
Yeah.
What has been your most memorable moment from all these trivia?
From trivia or from karaoke?
Both,
Because from
actually.
Karaoke, it's right in back of you. You see that record cover right there?
Really?
Natalie Cole.
Wow.
That young
This one.
lady came in to a karaoke night at Seasons many years ago with
Yeah.
her boyfriend, and she came up to me. I didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
And she says, "I want to sing Unforgettable by Nat King Cole with my boyfriend." And I look over the boyfriend's been imbibing pretty good, and I go, oh, this is going to be terrible. And I go, can you pick a different song? And she goes, what's wrong with that song? I said, there's nothing. And now keep in mind, I had no idea I was talking to Natalie Cole.
Really? She's like a big deal?
I said, Nat King Cole is a big deal to me. I loved him when I was a kid.
Yeah.
My dad used to play the albums on like an 8-track. So I remember Unforgettable, and I don't want to see it ruined in front of me. Anyway, she gets up there. I let her up there anyway. We're doing a karaoke contest, and her voice is pitch perfect. And I'm like, wow, she nailed all of Nat's parts. Her boyfriend, as expected, was terrible.
Yeah.
I go at the end of the night, I go to give her the gift certificate because she won Best Singer of the Night.
Wow.
And her sister says, Natalie.
Wait, who determines the winner?
At that time, it was actually a panel of judges. There was an old karaoke icon named Jack Dario,
Really?
who was Scott Dario's father, and he used to come in and sing Sinatra, and he was like one of our local celebrity karaoke singer guest judges. So I went over to give Natalie the gift certificate, and her sister says, you got to tell him who you are. And she goes, I'm Natalie Cole, and that was my father. She's since passed away, but she's on an album cover right there. I'm just looking at it. So I have more stories like that. There's John Forte, Fugees comes in and sings at karaoke nights here at the Ritz sometimes. So we'll get big names. We had one of the Backstreet Boys come in and sing like a Justin Bieber song once. So, I mean, we get some fun nights. Trivia, trivia I love because it's brought me so many places, like the Eggertown Yacht Club. I've never been in there before I did a trivia night, The Field Club in Eggertown, same.
My first time I went there last week to do a podcast. Yeah, I did a podcast last week.
It's unbelievable.
I know. It's a bit. Some places I didn't know exist.
Me neither.
Until you start networking with so many people, you start talking to people, and you hear different sides of what's going on here.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So even when it comes on to the trivia / karaoke scenario, what do you think has been the most challenging moment, or like something that's just like, why am I doing this, or I need to stop doing this? Like, what's one of those things you think that comes up?
Well, at the end of the year, I'm always really tired. And, I'm out there abusing my body.
Abusing this guy.
You just get tired.
You just showed your hands. They're nothing.
Yeah, but tired. Like, emotionally, physically tired. My liver's tired. Everything's tired.
Wow. So it's like you feel exhausted.
And you know what? My least favorite thing about having so much entertainment is leaving my son every day. He now knows that I'm out there earning money, and he's an earner himself.
Does he understand that?
Yeah, he does now. But it used to tug at me when I'd leave at night, and then I had to remind myself, I'm bringing home money for the family. So
for the business perspective of trivia, because it's all fun and games, right? A lot of people look at it as like
it's
fun.
It's a crazy business model.
Yeah,
look at it. Drink, have fun, hang out with my friends, and then at the end of the night get a paycheck.
That's what I'm saying.
It seems unfair, but so does my life. It seems unfair. I'm blessed.
That's what I'm talking about.
So blessed.
Like, so to do that, right? The business perspective of it. When you decided that I'm gonna do trivia / karaoke scenario, right? How did you get your first lead, your first location, how did you land that?
My first foray into the karaoke business was because the karaoke host couldn't do it. At the last minute, couldn't do it, and Mike Santoro had asked me, he says, can you do this? So I started that, and then we did some trivia as well. And then Dan was doing trivia over at the Wharf, and he kind of brought me in there. And then the bowling alley opened up, and we did trivia over there. And then Dan took the trivia at the bowling alley over. And then Bad Martha's came calling, and they said, we want some trivia. And then Black Dog was like, well, this trivia thing's been pretty good. We want some trivia. And I think consistency is key. Consistency is why people come back to my hotels. It's why they come back to the stores.
Yeah.
It's why they do business with me, because they know consistency is key. And it could be that I'm consistently obnoxious, but I'm consistent.
No, it is.
So
being consistent is hard.
You know what you're going to get. I'm not going to change.
Being consistent is like probably the moving factor in any business. And like to see this stuff happen, it's just very cool, because for a person who, say for instance, they have a similar idea, or they would want to get something off the ground, right? In the industries that you're in.
Yeah.
How can you advise them to say, okay, like you're getting started, you start here? What would you tell them?
And this is something that I don't really think about.
Right.
And it's maybe just lack of intelligence, but do it. take the chance, do it. I had no business getting into the hotel business, or no business spending the money that I put. I mean, I put $250,000 into a bank account with a guy that I had known for maybe a year.
Yeah, well, not everybody has $250,000 just sitting, bro. Like,
well, I didn't either. I didn't either, but I had a piece of property, and I went and got a big mortgage on it. I got an equity line of credit, and I put equity line of credit right into a bank account and went right into business, and I didn't think twice about it. My wife thought I was crazy. She said, you can lose this family home. Really? I had a family home and a family piece of land here, and I just mortgaged it to my eyeballs and went for it.
Insane risk.
And then it worked. It worked. Year one, it worked.
Wow.
And then just last November, my wife and I purchased 33 Circuit Avenue.
I saw that.
That was Laughing Bear, and it was there for 33 years. It was a lot of money, and all of my friends and everybody I know was like, that's a lot of money. That's too much money. She's asking too much money. And I was like, the woman deserves it. She's been in business for 33 years. She has an asking price. I think I can meet that asking price, and I can come up with a deposit, because life is better now.
Right.
And I'm not going to an equity line to get the money now. So I'm doing all right.
Yep.
I go to my wife, I said, do you think that we can make this mortgage payment with you selling dresses?
Yeah.
She looked at me very confidently and said, I can probably do it with you selling dresses. So 2 days a week, I'm up there selling dresses. I talked myself into another job that I don't have time for. But I quite enjoy it. So you can find me at Oso. I'm there selling dresses because I talked the wife into purchasing this building. She's more risk adverse than I am. So she looked at it and goes, I go, worst case scenario, we could sell it for more than what we bought it for after a coat of paint. And that's just
remodeling,
the Vineyard works in the open market. But by God, it's working. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's working. People are showing up.
People are showing up, and I've seen that myself because I've been there. I'm going to show you guys some clips of that place right now. I had some clips. And so it's what I think is interesting is the business model on circuit, right? So the question that I always ask, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people think about this too, like you only have like 5 months to make money, right? What happens in those next months?
Really, there's 100 like profitable days.
Yeah.
Everything else is just trying to fill in the little.
So what's happening in those days? Because it's like you have the mortgage, it's non-stop, it's coming in. Like, so what's taking place?
You gotta learn. It's like that, like the Aesop fable, where you gotta have enough nuts to make it through the winter. And the first couple years, you never do that, right? But now, after 20 years in business on the island, I've realized that those winter months are long. So you can't spend the same way you do. But you don't see me out 4 nights a week, 5 nights a week.
Really?
Because I'm tired, number one. Number two, just can't afford to go out 5 nights a week in the winter. I'm not making the same amount of money. A lot of, the Black Dog stays open year round. The Bad Martha's is just seasonal. And the Ritz is year round. Yeah. And the Wharf may or may not be year round. I haven't heard yet. But, so I'm still busy, but.
What's like, all right, so say for instance the stores and the hotels and stuff like that, how does the cash flow gets affected when it comes on to just basically the winter months, and we can't
so we're going to see. We don't know how the clothing stores are going to do. Eastaway we always keep open as long as we've got inventory, and then it usually ends up closing down by November because we've run out of stuff to sell, and it's more of a seasonal store. Basics clothing is a rock. Basics needs to stay open year round. Basics is open every single day except for Christmas and New Year's. Every day except for Christmas and New Year's. Christmas Eve is one of our busiest days at Basics. Everybody's running around getting those last minute things. Yeah. It's hands down the store that Islanders need to have open. There's a couple of us here on the island, and they're all great. But Basics is our one right here in Oak Bluffs, and you'll never see it closing except for Christmas and New Year's.
I mean, the name even says year-round, though.
Yeah, my wife bought into that business several years ago, but
on her own or with your advice?
She definitely did it on her own. But she was an employee of Basics in Eastaway for many years with Tom and Lori.
Wow.
They started that business, I believe, in '81 or '82, and they had run their business quite successfully. Yeah. And then my wife became a store clerk and a buyer, and then it started going up and up and up. And the more clothes my wife bought, the more profit they made. And then they both all three of them came to an agreement that there was going to form a business partnership.
Man.
So now my wife's an owner with Tom and Lori. They're all equal.
Man, it's like I heard so much about your wife, and it's really interesting because
She's a beast.
I heard everything. You think we could get her
so
on
serious.
here? You think we could get her on the pod? What do you think?
If you could find time.
I think we could squeeze 40 minutes, bro.
She is
Come on.
so intense. She's
Yeah.
Type A. She's very good at what she does. She's a machine.
We should get her on.
You can get her on a podcast, but you're gonna have to follow her with a camera.
I don't care.
She's gonna be doing something. She's gonna be. Over
I don't
there
care.
ordering clothes.
Like, let's do it. I think it's the best thing because
She knows on her cell phone every time I sell a dress, and she's ordering a new one to replace the empty spot in the rack. And she does this for 3 different locations. So that in itself, she's a mystery to me. I don't know. We both grew up very poor. She grew up with a single mom, and her mom provided her the best life that she could, and she's a terrific mom. But she was a single working mom.
But think about
spent
that.
A lot of time.
How did, because you guys now are both entrepreneurs, like did you meet being entrepreneurs or
No,
was it?
definitely not. I think I've talked to my wife, and I think if she was here, I'd say it right in front of her face, because that's good advice for the island. Never say something about somebody that you're not willing to say in front of their face, because it's gonna get back to them.
Gonna get around.
So I think my wife will tell you that I am 100% her champion, and she's 100% my break. So like, she's my champion too. She builds me up, but she also says, John, you're chasing this crazy dream. Like, forget it. Focus on this.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, Aaron, that store's for sale. She's like, yeah, somebody else will buy it. I go, no, you gotta buy it.
You
have to buy it. Annie wants this to be a locally owned woman boutique on Circuit Avenue, just as it has been for 33 years.
Yeah.
She's made it clear. It has to remain a woman-owned boutique. I'm looking around and I'm thinking, there's only a few of you guys, so let's just be the first to make the offer. And I think, I don't know with authority, but I think that Annie was very kind to hold off the big corporate interests. Because that very easily could have been a Ralph Lauren store this summer.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
It could have been a Lululemon. I'm sure it could have been whatever it was. I think it was a good price for what we paid, and I have no regrets.
So it's like,
it's amazing how the day after the deal was signed and the paperwork changed hands, everybody told me I stole it and I got a great deal.
You stole it.
But leading up to it,
it was a bad idea.
Oh,
it was a bad idea.
You're gonna hate. They're like, oh, how are you gonna do all 3? How the blah 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 blah? Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Wow.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. It's like every one of those little iconic things that you hear that my dad would say, that somebody said before him, they repeat in my head. You always lead from the front. Don't ask anybody to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. Yeah. All of those things I practice.
So it's like, okay, so I think about that, and I think about exactly how you operate, right? And now that you guys are like this, right? What I'm saying is, how do you basically keep like a level head when it comes on to running all these businesses? And then, have you ever had any failures like going forward? Because it's easy to say, oh, it's going to work out, it's going to work out. Have you ever had any failures that took place?
That's funny you say that, because I'm sure I have had plenty of failures.
Yep.
As far as keeping grounded, all you got to do is know me to know that I'm far from grounded. I was just told the other day that I have to get off my high horse. So I do have that bigger than life personality, but that comes from being, the poorest kid in class. The kid that was, looked down upon because he didn't have money for new shoes.
Confidence built over time.
Well, it was a false confidence for many years, and now it's not.
Right.
So I guess a combination of maybe having too little of a self-esteem and too big of an ego.
No, I think you have to have an ego. I think you have to have an ego.
I have to have an ego to go in and buy a store that everybody says, don't do it, you're crazy, your wife's not going to have the time, how is she going to do it? Everybody comes up, did your wife leave Basics and Eastaway? Why would we do that? They're making money. They're doing quite well with my wife running them. So why would we leave that to go chase something else when we think we can do it all? Time will tell. I think that you're right. You do have to have that ego. I give my wife that ego when it comes to this business. But now she sees herself thriving in Oso, and she's like, yeah, you're right. I did have this in me. I go, of course you did. Because it's very important to build. Yeah. If a partner's not building you up, they're tearing you down. They might not know it, but they're tearing you down. And there's no motivation in a partnership if your partner is not building you up.
Right.
Where's my motivation to make you more money? Why do I want to bust my butt to make you more money if you can't even pat me on the back once in a while and say, hey, great job.
So, all right, so when you talk about build up, right? Because I think it's more than just a great job. What are the different things that a partner can do to keep you motivated, to keep the incentive high, to keep you saying, okay, I know I can win because at least I have this one person. Yeah. I have this one person that believes, because sometimes you have a lot of people saying that, oh no, you're too high horse, you're too this, but then you have this one person in your corner believing in you. So it's like, what are the things that a person can do to be that person for you, you know?
It might be a personality flaw, but I had a person tell me many years ago, it says, you walk around and you say that the Dockside has the best occupancy, and you say that it's the best hotel on the island, and what do you have to qualify that? Like, how can you call it the best when you don't really know?
Say, trust me, bro. Just trust me, bro.
Here's the thing, and this is like I said, maybe a mental thing, maybe a mental illness that I have. But I believe, and I truly, with my whole heart, believe that my wife is the hardest working woman in Oak Bluffs. I think that my house on Lime Street is the best house in the entire neighborhood. It's not the biggest, but I think it's the best location. My son, I think, is going to be the smartest kid at the regional high school next year. And for sure, he's the most handsome.
Yeah.
So, but these are all truths.
I love this shit. I love it, bro.
Right? So I don't, it doesn't change because somebody points out a fact. Well, actually, so-and-so has got a 99.2%.
Actually what?
And I go, not in my mind. I also don't remember the last time I had a cold, and I don't remember the last time something bad happened to me, because I don't have time or energy to think about the bad. Like, my wife will say something like, hey, do you remember when Finn fell and cut his knee on vacation? And I'll go, no. And I literally remember everything about that vacation except for the fall or the cut.
Yeah.
And it's not because I didn't care about the fall or the cut. It's because I didn't have time and energy to worry about dwelling on that Finn missed one day of the beach because of the fall and the cut. I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Wow.
I'm not dwelling on the past. I'm not dwelling on the fact. Well, maybe I do subconsciously dwell on the fact that I had wet shoes when I was a kid, and I needed new shoes. Now I got a shoe store.
Wow, that is insane.
So that feels really good, and the boost of my ego as I walk out of a store with a brand new box of shoes that I didn't have to pay for, not directly, indirectly.
No, I know.
It's a sense of pride. It's pride in my wife. It's pride in what she's done, what she's accomplished.
Keeps you motivated.
Amazing. She's like by far more successful than me.
Really?
Well, yeah. As far as work ethic and just intelligence, yeah.
I love this.
And that's okay. That's okay. At the end of the year, we look at our tax returns and we try to beat each other.
Really?
I try to beat her down. She tries to beat me down. I don't say I know.
Oh man, I love this, bro. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Competitive.
I think that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, and she loves her business. I love my business, and together we're better.
Man, that is absolutely the coolest thing
I got
ever.
21 years married this year.
Really?
Yeah, as long as she doesn't mess it up between now and September.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's October. Never mind. You can delete that part.
Okay, so let's do another spin, all right? Because one thing that I've noticed, I've observed a lot of things that happen here on this island, all right? And I substitute at a high school sometimes. I do this, and
I love that.
Some people ask me why, but it's like
I just love that for you, man.
I do it.
It's more important than the kids.
All right, to be honest, you have to stay level-headed and learn about what the kids know, okay? You have to know what they know, because a lot of people, they think that these kids don't know anything. They think that they're just dumb, stupid kids, but they're super smart. And every time I talk to them, I learn something, and I either realize where the next generation is going, right? So I do this to basically keep myself, so this is why I even started this podcast, to talk to really older people, and then I substitute at high school to talk to really younger people. So it's like the people who are my age already know what they're thinking, you know what I'm saying? I already know what's going on in their head, but it's like you don't know what's going on in the older person's head and the younger person's head. But in order to find this information out, what I've noticed is, along as like talking about the franchise ban here, and there's not a franchise ban, it's actually just like you said, it's just like
through the commission and through all the other rules.
They made it
not
difficult.
Providing a public restroom for people, like that's in the charter, from what I understand, of McDonald's or a Wendy's or a Burger King. They have to provide public restrooms because when they first got their charters, they were highway stores, and the highway system decided, well, it would be really nice if people could go off and go to a bathroom, and you knew that every McDonald's had a bathroom.
Yes.
You could do that. Well, McDonald's can't provide a public, no business here would advertise a public bathroom, because I don't think you can. I think it's illegal.
Really?
You couldn't put a sign out here that said public restroom.
That is interesting. And so what I've noticed with these kids, right, is that most of the kids here that goes to the high school, their parents own businesses.
Yeah.
Their parents,
Entrepreneurs.
Little entrepreneurs. They're the people who make this island like special, right?
Yeah.
But when I talk to these kids, they have no interest in taking over these businesses.
Yeah, and that's
At all.
fine.
Like-
and that's fine.
No, but how is that fine? Because what's happening is exactly what we're seeing right now, where the corporations, they're like, oh, your son doesn't want it? Okay, I'll buy it. And they just buy it. And now they're in.
Well, look at what just happened with the Pacheco family, Reliable Market.
Right.
They just bought the Phillips building a couple of years ago.
They did?
Phillips Hardware.
I did not know
and
that.
The reason, I don't know, because I don't know either one of the parties well enough to ask personal questions, but in my opinion, the Phillips family sold to the Pacheco family because it was like, nah, we're going to keep this local.
We're gonna keep it local.
Because
Okay.
otherwise it's going to be a true value hardware.
That's what I'm
with
saying.
Joe Blow from Off Island who just came out
Stop
with a bunch
and
of money. But they didn't do that.
Yeah.
The ladies over at Phillips decided that they found their buyer and he had the money to do it, so he bought it. What is he going to do? I have no idea. Not a clue. But I know that it's going to remain a locally owned block of Circuit Avenue, which I love, without corporate.
But wouldn't it still be a hardware? They would still keep it.
I'm sure he's going to keep a hardware store. We need a hardware store.
Exactly.
So I'm sure he's going to keep it. He's not an idiot. I mean, he hasn't been in business for 90 years by running a bad business.
I gotta talk to that guy, bro.
Good luck. But
I know, I gotta talk to that guy.
Because he's working. And on Sunday, he spends the day with his family. And he just does the same thing. And
All the
why?
time.
Because he's consistently consistent. I go to Phillips, I know what I'm going to get. I go to Reliable, I know what I'm going to get.
Facts.
Consistency. And all the locals will support them till the day's end.
But what do you, all right, so in the brain of a
But,
person.
so let me go back to one thing.
Yep.
A friend of mine owns Sun and Fun, Jeep Rentals, Don Gregory.
Right.
Maybe Don Gregory's son, Donnie, doesn't want to rent cars.
That's what I'm saying.
Donnie's got a terrific business, but maybe his son is the next best, Conrad Hilton. Maybe he's the best next hotelier, and my son might be the best next car renter.
I mean, that's true. That is true.
But I would always give, like, if say Donnie's son worked for me for years and years, and I was thinking about selling it, I might go to Donnie and say, hey, look, you guys should buy this, rather than let some corporate off-island entity come out and do it. Hopefully that's the situation someday. If that comes to pass, I have a feeling my son will probably shoot for the fences and try to do everything.
Yeah.
And that's okay too. But I know that at the beginning of the summer, he came to me and my wife and said, are you guys going to be upset if I don't work at the store and the hotel, because I'm now 14 and I can get a work permit and I can get a real job? And I'm like, whoa, wait,
A real job?
The real job
That's what I'm saying, bro.
A real job was shoving those bags up and down those stairs for me, so I didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
After staying up at 1 o'clock in the morning doing karaoke, or getting the shoes from the basement and running them up to your mom. That's a real job. But my son goes, no, I want my independence. So my son is working for the harbor master, and he's out there in a little
All right, so why does that
that
happen?
doesn't bother me, because
But it would bother me, bro.
But
It
it's
would bother me.
Yeah, but here's the problem that a lot of island businesses do make.
Yeah.
And I know this, is that, say somebody's got a successful business, makes a ton of money, and their children are working for them,
Yeah.
and they're working very hard. And the proprietors, the parents, are going, well, this is why you're not getting paid enough, because this is all going to be yours someday. I will
my
never do
God.
that. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen to many island families. And then what happens? The parents just ride them too hard until the fact that the kid's like, you know what? I
can't-
have the skill.
Yeah, I
I
don't wanna
got
do
the
this.
skill.
Yeah.
I'll go do X
Somewhere else.
in a different venue. And guess what, Pop? Now you've got something to pass on to nobody, that nobody will buy.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, how does a parent like stops like their kid from deciding like, hey, I'm not taking over dad's thing, bro.
My son might work at the harbor for the next 5 years, like through college or whatever, and then come back and be like, my dad built this really iconic, really nice business. I would love to take it over. And I think that's exactly what he's going to happen. Or he's going to thrive off island for 10 years and come back. I know that he's coming back to the island because the island's something special, that it lives inside you.
Yeah.
My mother had had it, her father had it, my aunt's has it. Like, you cannot, like, I don't ever see, my mother was born here, my mother died here. This is where she's buried, this is where she will remain.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that
That's
she wanted
insane. That's
because,
insane.
you know, and it might be different from you. You come from a different island.
Right.
You might not see the same kind of route. But I know that in the 1870s, my great-grandfather came out because he couldn't afford land on the mainland and had to make it work on Martha's Vineyard. And the family's been here ever since.
That is very interesting.
And that's because a lot of my cousins don't leave, and they don't want to. They don't necessarily want to.
Why don't they leave?
I mean, they leave, they go down to Florida, they go wherever, they vacation, but I don't know, man. I think we're pretty, there's something special about being from Mayberry. There's something special about knowing that my son can walk down to the reliable market and be like, put this on my dad's account, and
Really?
or the hard
Has to be the coolest part ever.
You know, like, and I know that he's safe, and you know, I don't really lock my front door a lot, you know.
So because we're gonna wrap it up soon, but I do want to talk about what's the legacy you want to leave behind. Do you think from running this business
world's
here?
greatest father.
Right.
That's what I want to leave behind.
World's greatest
father, because I had that.
Wow.
So that's the legacy I want to leave behind. I want my son to be able to defend the fact that, you know, many years after I'm gone, he's going to be in a bar and somebody's going to go, your dad was Showtime? And he's going to go, yeah, my dad.
If you, all right, so that is super cool.
But business-wise, you want to talk business-wise, I'd like the Dockside to remain the Dockside, locally owned forever.
Yes.
Forever. I'm not, you know,
I love this.
I don't ever see that. I see 33 Circuit Avenue.
Yeah.
I see me renovating the apartment above Oso with a nice little balcony someday that I can watch people come and go from Reliable Market for the next 90 years.
If you could estimate, if you could estimate a valuation for Dockside in 5 years, 10 years, what do you think it's going to look like?
Oh, it's going to have 5 more rooms on the top of it. It's going to look square, and it's still going to be owned by the same 2 guys.
Yeah, well, what evaluation? What evaluation are you thinking? Like, what do you think it's possible for after that?
I think today, after the renovation?
Yeah, after that.
No, probably north of 15.
15?
Yep.
Man.
Absolutely.
You hear this stuff, guys? Like, yo, 15.
Yeah, well, when I bought it,
15 million is crazy.
When my partner and I bought that for 1.7,
right?
1.7 in 2012, everybody and their mother came up to us and told us how much we overpaid for it.
But
how stupid we were.
In 10 years,
6 months to be like, wow, this is really good. You guys did a nice job with this. We were on the cover of Condé Nast, Travel and Leisure magazine, Boston magazine called us the best of the Vineyard on the first year that we were open, 2012.
Really?
So we did pretty well right out of the gate. We got a little bit of luck, a lot of hard work from both of us. My partner and I both put in everything into that business, and I think it is a little iconic. Nobody knew where the Dockside is before we got into business. Now we have a very own beach, Dockside Beach.
Wow.
They built the Dockside Beach with Hurricane Sandy relief money a couple of years ago, and how fortunate was that? They created an entire beach right in front of me.
Man, it's like the way inflation is going right now, probably in 10 years, 15 million is going to be like 1.7. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't pretend to be that smart in the money game of it. That's why I have my wife. My wife certainly knows a lot more about that.
Man, that is
I know that there's no amount of money that I would take right now to sell it because I'm 49 years old. I'm filled with piss and vinegar, and I'm ready to do this for another 20 years. I got nowhere to go, and I'm not tired.
I love this. So let's talk about Finn, and we're gonna wrap up. But if you only had 3 books to suggest to Finn that he has to read in order to know and be aware of what life truly means and what business actually is about, what would you suggest to him?
I love Great Expectations. I love Great Expectations. I like Dickens because he was a sociologist.
That's a book called Great Expectations?
Yeah, Great Expectations.
Okay, I'm going to look into that. Another one. That's one.
I don't know. I wish I had thought about this question before you asked.
I know, it's tricky. Tricky question.
Yeah, what else? I mean, I read a lot of historical, nonfiction.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't read a lot of the 7 tips for highly successful.
I understand, but he doesn't even have to be one of those.
Yeah, that's why I went with Great Expectations, because it's the story of somebody who was definitely counted out in life who comes back, and it's a timeless story. Trying to think of I read a book on Lincoln that was pretty fascinating, but not business-wise. I don't really know. Yeah.
You don't read a lot of business books?
No, I don't.
That is interesting, bro.
I don't.
A serial business owner, like, doesn't like do it. Wow. So, okay, so what's one advice?
Imitation's the highest form of flattery, right? And I think when I see something, when we were getting into the hotel business, one of the things that I did, one of the most successful things I did, is I knew me and my partner were going to be hotel owners very shortly.
Really?
So I said, what are the things that I love about the hotel that I'm currently staying at? Because in the winter we get to travel a lot. And I had this little notebook that I traveled around with. And on the front of the notebook, I wrote everything that I loved.
Right.
On the back of the notebook, I wrote everything that I didn't like. And then when we were going into the hotel business, my partner and I, we bounced these things. I go, I like this, I like that, I like that. I go, you know, what I really liked is texting with the concierge. So we have Loomis, the virtual concierge. We have a patent on the virtual concierge. So although everybody and their mother is now texting their guests, we began in 2012 and had been awarded a patent from the U.S. Patent
for Loomis.
In 2018.
It's very
so you could go
inactive.
see Loomis, you could go see the patent.
Is that a person who's replying?
Loomis is a group of people. So Loomis are people that answer questions that you might have while you're on the island. You're going to get one static phone number, and I'm going to say, if you have a question while you're staying with us, text that number. And then any one of my Lumi at any given time will respond to that text message and say, hey, you know, this is great. Now, I know that Bonvoy and Marriott and Ritz-Carlton and everybody else has their version of what Loomis is, and they're all absolutely 100% infringing upon my patent. It doesn't really matter because I don't have the money to fight those guys.
Wow.
But I'm happy with what I do.
So for the last question, if we could give, say for instance, if we could give Finn one advice that would guaranteedly help him throughout his years, what's that advice?
Listen to people. Listen to people and be sincere. You're never going to be better than somebody. Nobody's ever going to be better than you.
Right.
Listen to people when they talk to you, hear what they're saying, and react to that. But be sincere. Because sincerity is everything. When people are hollow or people, I don't ever cut anybody out of my life. I don't ever say, oh, that guy's dead to me. I just, people come in and out of you at different times, and I see the best in everybody.
I promise, this is the last one. What's the best advice you got for like growing up?
Always lead from the front. Always lead from the front. Don't do anything. My dad always said, don't do anything that you wouldn't expect to be able to do yourself. So never ask of a man something that you're not willing to do yourself.
Wow.
I went into the hotel one day, and somebody had thrown up in the shop sink, right in the back.
Right.
And it was filled with puke, and the housekeeper at the time, her solution was to just blast the water until there was enough water in it that it was going to force it down. Obviously, that didn't happen because they were eating crab cakes or whatever they were eating. So I come in, and they're all standing around this sink, and it's filled with puke, and it's rancid. And they called me, they go, John, we can't get this down. Like, what do you want to do? And I said, here's what we do.
You touched it. This guy's crazy, bro. This guy's a psychopath.
I took everything out of the sink, and then the housekeeper's like, okay, I got it from here. I go, no. Bleach the sink.
And you had
the sink. Give her the sink back in the condition it was when she left the day before, and I did it with my own hands. Now she's seen me do it. She knows I can do it, and I've never gotten a call for a clogged sink again.
Lead in from the front.
Lead from the front. Don't panic the troops.
Man, bro, Johnny.
That's some of the best advice I could tell you.
Thank you, Johnny.
All right, thank you.
Oh, man.